Hey there, my name is Chris Acton with Acting Creative, and this is A Handwoven Experience, episode 117. And we're in the kitchen today because I'm gonna burn some stuff. Yes, today I'm gonna talk about how to determine your unknown fiber. And the best way to do that is with a burn test. Now, I am the world's biggest chicken when it comes to anything with flames, so I am being very careful. I am in the kitchen. I have a sink full of water ready to go, and I'm taking all the precautions. So this is certainly not an endorsement to just go lighting all of your fiber on fire. However, there are times when it is a great way to determine what kind of fiber you are working with. So basically, with a burn test, it will help you determine if you have one of three types of fibers: animal fiber, a plant fiber, or a synthetic fiber. Those are the three different categories. Now, from what I can tell, I've been doing a little research. From what I can tell, you won't necessarily be able to determine if this is cotton or linen. It's harder to break it up into what kind of plant fiber it is or what kind of animal fiber. However, you can at least get in the ballpark, which is a great place to start, because we all know there are times when you have purchased just some random beautiful yarn that was too cheap to pass up, and you thought, I'll use that for something, but I don't know what it is. So let's talk about how to determine what your unknown fiber actually is. So here's how this all started for me, is that I have, three of these little balls of yarn. Beautiful, right? Kind of shiny, this pretty kind of gold color, gorgeous. And I was like, this is great. It's not real fragile, doesn't stretch. I'm like, this is lovely. I'm gonna use this in my warp of my project, but I would like to kind of narrow it down. What is the fiber? So that's how my journey started into trying a little burn testing. So here's how I decided to tackle this, trying to think like a scientist instead of a weaver. So I know that this is cotton, right? I know that this is wool, and I'm guessing that this is some kind of synthetic, since you're not going to find those kind of sparkles in nature. It just doesn't happen, not typically at least. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to try a little burn test on each of these so you can see how it burns differently, and then we'll get around to this guy to narrow it down as to what this is. So like I said, a big old chicken. So I am going to cut, 12 inches probably. A nice long piece here. And this is where we really need some smell-o-vision. I'm gonna tell you, because that's one of the major indicators as to what fiber is. How does it burn? Is there ash? Does it create ash or kind of melt? Because a synthetic will melt. And then how does it smell? And I tend to be someone with a pretty good sniffer. So I wish there's some way I could send the scents through the screen to you so you could also sniff it with me so you would know. But I'm gonna try to describe it as best I can so you get the idea. Okay, so let's start with our cotton. I have my little flamethrower here. All right, let's see what we got. Can you see that there? Yeah, you can. Okay, all right, here we go. Okay, so that burns like the wick of a candle, right? That's kind of the motion that it makes, right? Which is typically your wick of a candle is going to be out of a cotton, so that makes sense, right? Cotton. You can see even afterwards that the ash. Here, let me see if I can get it. See if I can get it out of the water now that I have it in there. Oh, see, the ash just came right off. So that is how your natural fiber is gonna burn. Okay, let's try the wool next here. We'll get this guy. Again, big ol' long piece. There we go. Now, this one, they tell me should kind of smell like burnt hair, like that, which it's wool, right? Ultimately, our hair, yeah, wool, it's all the same. Okay, so here we go. Are you watching? All right. So does it burn look at how it burns differently. Is that interesting? Ooh, okay. The smell? Ooh, yeah. Ooh, no. It's, oh yeah, it has that kind of, you know what I'm talking about, that burnt hair kind of smell. Kind of real strong and pungent and kind of gets up in your nose. That's what that smells like. Okay, let's try this guy, which is our, this is the, oh, it's still coming around. Okay, so this is what I think is going to be at least part synthetic, of course. Let's see here. All right, here we go. Our purple shiny kind of yarn. Let's see what that guy does. A synthetic will really kind of melt. Ooh, much faster. And the way that the ash, there's no real ash, it just kind of melts together like a plasticky, like you would think, like plastic would, right? Synthetic. Okay, so now it's time. Let's try out our unknown fiber and see. Oh, by the way, the smell of that last one has that kind of burnt plastic kind of smell, pretty strong too. The cotton didn't have too strong a smell, but the animal fiber and the synthetic, nice and pungent. Okay, here is our unknown one. Now, part of me is thinking it's shiny. It could be like a mercerized cotton, but another part of me is thinking it could easily be a synthetic. So, are you ready? Here we go. Let's test it. Oh, interesting. Oh, it's just melting right away. Oh, how funny. Yes. Okay. Oh, it also stinks. That is a synthetic. This one here, synthetic yarn. How interesting is that? So that tells me that it's probably not going to be shrinking very much. Not that I was going to wash it, but it does tell me it's probably some kind of a rayon, right? That kind of makes sense. It's not a silk, but definitely some kind of a rayon. That's what I'm guessing. So how interesting was that? And it's the kind of thing I realize that you can't smell through the screen, so you don't get the full effect. However, you can at least start to see how each type of fiber burns a little bit differently, where the synthetic ones are gonna really melt and keep burning until I put them in the sink. The wool wasn't gonna burn as much, and I think my wool is probably a blend, because they say if it's all animal fiber, it'll hardly burn at all. So it's probably mixed with something else, but mostly animal fiber. And then the cotton was just kind of this steady kind of flame that would keep going, just like you would a wick of a candle. So how interesting is that? And you got to see a part of my crazy little kitchen. So I hope that you took a little something away from that and thought, okay, now I have some idea of what to look for if you are going to identify an unknown fiber, because that's a nice kind of easy way to do it. Just please, please, please be safe. Don't do anything crazy. Certainly don't light a match around the rest of your stash. You know, we don't need to call any firemen to your house today, okay? All right, you guys, have a wonderful week and happy weaving.